Hey everyone, welcome to today's exciting webinar brought to you by SocialPilot. I am Diksha Singhal, Social Media Manager at SocialPilot, and we are about to dive into the world of threads with the experts from the Meta who are going to unravel the secrets of building a powerful and genuine community on threads. But before we jump in, a quick word about SocialPilot. We are a leading social media management platform that's constantly evolving to help brands like yours to stay ahead of the curve in your social media management. We offer powerful capabilities to publish and schedule, engage your social community, collaborate with team and clients, and generate and automate reports with handy integrations of AI, Canva, and Drive, and much more. Today, we are thrilled to have integrated thread support with us, giving you seamless content creation, planning, scheduling, and cross posting capabilities. And today, I have with me from the Meta team who are instrumental in Threads development Etienne Blanc, Product Marketing Manager at Threads, and Teddy Adelise, Solutions Architect at Meta. I welcome you both to this webinar.
Hi, Diksha.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very
Teddy,
good.
how are
Thanks
you
for
doing,
having me.
Etienne?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. So, first, I would definitely want to understand that what came to the mind of you guys that you have Threads as a new platform launched. What was the idea behind Threads?
Essentially, I think early in 2023, a very small team of engineers within the Instagram team basically decided that they wanted to start building a new app. And the idea was really to create a place that where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and their ideas, and with the belief that everyone has something valuable to say. And we're gonna get back to that. But they did that in a very kind of like hacky startup type of way. And again, like very small team, very nimble, reusing a lot of the things we've done on the Instagram side, and just like created that with like an opportunity in mind that there's more opportunities to kind of start conversation than what was out there at that time.
Amazing, amazing. Anything from your side, Teddy, as well? Would you want to add something here?
No, I think Etienne covered the topic very well.
Okay, amazing. Amazing. So before we, head into knowing more about threads, I would definitely want to know more about our audience as well. And I can already see that people are kind of, greeting you guys. People are joining from Netherlands and any many other places. We have Frank here, we have Denitessa and many more people. So I would definitely want you guys to once greet our all the viewers and marketers here out there who are very excited to kind of, interact with you guys. Okay. All right. So I think we can straight away dive into your presentation right now. Etienne, Teddy, any one of you can have the stage right now, and please help us understand more about the threads. I think everyone here is very much excited, and I can see the excitement already in the chat box.
I'm on it. Let me check if I can share my screen.
thanks.
Let me clean up. Um, okay, you should see my screen now. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So starting with the beginning. So I think Diksha, you already asked about this, how this started again, like very small, nimble team, moving pretty fast, thinking about like the space out there and wanting to offer more than one option to kind of have public conversations online. And this is just a fun kind of aspect of it with like the iterations of the logo for any kind of designers out there. The golden ticket that we launched and started to show to people on Instagram before Threads actually launched, and then like what the original experience looked like.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bet ultimately, and like we really saw an opportunity there, and it kind of like paid off in a way, or like the numbers say a story where like we were right that there was an opportunity out there, and like we grew pretty fast. We reached recently 275 monthly active users on the platform, people sharing and connecting over ideas every day or every month, sorry, on Threads. And we've seen more than 1 million signups daily. So pretty strong growth and trajectory, and really something that we are grateful for, and like continue to work hard to bring more features and values to the community to kind of keep growing and keep the momentum going, and ultimately long term reach 1 billion hopefully. The the core belief, I mentioned that before, is really that everyone has something worth saying, something valuable to say, and they can say it with Threads. And I think really the app is for you to share your thoughts and ideas, to join conversation based on your interest, and to engage and grow your community. But maybe even more importantly, I think I want to go a bit deeper on the mission. The mission is to inspire ideas that bring people together, and like to go one step further. Like inspiring ideas is really about like creating a welcoming environment that helps people share their thoughts. From really kind of the highbrow to the unhinged, it can be thought that they have in the commute, like in the morning, or like the latest breakthrough in research on a specific field, some philosophical thoughts, or even, I don't know, some silly jokes and snarky memes. I think it's really casual thoughts again to deep ideas. So it's all kind of ideas that we want to see on the platform. And bringing people together, I believe, is really core to what we do at Meta. And it's really about kind of allowing people to find others who share what they're into, and then form LCR communities that have lively conversations. With that in mind, I just wanted to share kind of five actually characteristics of the platform, and go through a few features that are on the platforms. I know not all of these features are available through the API and SocialPilot, but whenever it makes sense, we're working with our partners and SocialPilot to kind of bring parity with the native experience. That's one. And two, that's also features that natively on the app or on web bring value to the customers and to the users actually, and therefore are interesting for any kind of marketers. But just to explain the app at a high level, I think what we want to do is make sure that it's very easy to get started. So we've made sure that like from you can like in the tap basically join and create your account on Threads directly from Instagram. You will not be lost with a feed experience where you'll be able to see content that is algorithmically ranked by our AI systems, and that show posts that we believe are or predict that they have value to you and are going to be of interest. You also have a following feed where you can see only posts from people you follow. Search just enables you to find topics that you care about, and find accounts as well, or profiles to follow and to engage with. And then we have a web interface as well, threads.net, which is very easy to customize and where you can consume content in pretty much real time. So that's getting started. Then the next slide is really about like creation, and the fact that obviously this is a text forward app, and you can create with text, but you can do more than that. You can create with polls, GIFs, voice notes. You can also obviously share photos and videos on the platform and share carousels, which I think people love, especially if you've noticed that you can pinch photos together, which people are using very creatively. And then you can edit your threads for 15 minutes. You can also find community, and we really want people to be able to find their community on Threads. And so a couple of things that we are doing here is topic tags, for instance. You can use one topic tag per thread, and that's really a way to connect with your community, but also to get more discoverable. And we're going to touch on that in a minute. Trending now is currently available only in the US. We hope to expand further, but it's really a way to understand like what people are talking about and jump in the conversation, and quickly engage with things that are like trending on the platform. And live scores is another example for sport lovers, which is really about like seeing what's going on during a game for basketball, for instance, and engaging on the conversation about that game with all the fans. The last and definitely not the least aspect here is controlling your experience. We want users to have control over their experience on Threads. And so we ported over a lot of features around safety and integrity from Instagram to Threads. A couple of examples that are really important is the ability to reply and use quote control. So basically decide who can engage with your content. To remove a quote, if someone quoted you and you really don't want to be quoted by that person, you can do that. Hidden words basically enables you to set up words that you don't want to see across the experience on Instagram and on Threads. And also you can like turn off the noise and manage notifications very easily. There are obviously more than these features. You can report accounts, you can block obviously, and like basically someone that you block on Instagram is also blocked on Threads and vice versa. So a lot of work there to make sure that people can be safe on the platform and have positive and constructive conversations. One thing that I thought I would touch on, which is a bit more maybe technical and specific, but I think nonetheless very interesting, is that Threads is part of the Fediverse. The Fediverse means federated universe. It's an open, decentralized social media network that lets users connect and share information across independent servers, such as, for instance, Flipboard or Mastodon. To explain that like in a bit more of a like to make sure everyone understands pretty easily, email is an example of a federated universe. So that's a very simple analogy, but you can have a Gmail, a Hotmail, a Yahoo account and still kind of have a conversation over email with someone who has a different mailbox, because all of these use the same protocol essentially. The difference being that emails are shared with a limited audience, while information that is shared in the Fediverse is shared publicly. That's something that you can very easily turn on in your settings. And essentially, that's an example of what this looks like. When you share something on Threads and you have turned on sharing to the Fediverse, your post is going to be available there and people are going to be able to engage with it. And the real belief, the reason we're doing that is that we believe that connecting people to public conversations is bigger than one single company. We've been working on this for the past year or so. We are taking a step-by-step approach to make sure we do that responsibly as we engage with the community and all the stakeholders. Here, we made like iterations since earlier this year. We introduced the ability to see replies coming from other servers in the Fediverse, but also to see likes and posts from people who follow you outside of Threads and from other Fediverse servers. And there's more to do. We just announced yesterday that you can start following Fediverse profiles from Threads directly. With that in mind, I'm gonna hand over to Teddy to talk a little bit about like best practices on Threads.
Thank you so much, Etienne, for presenting the slides until here. Yeah, I'm here to speak a little bit about the best practices on Threads and basically share some tips about how to grow, right? So one of the things that we hear often from our producers is that they really often want to understand how to succeed on Threads. And so things that like, what should I post and how often should I be posting, things like that. So to make it easy, we've put together some best practices around things that we've seen work really well on Threads. So the first slide that we want to present is talking about, well, the fact that we always encourage users to share content often, right? So what we're seeing is that frequency really matters, and essentially the more frequently a user posts, well, the more views per post they get. So we usually recommend around, well, posting around 2 to 5 times per week. And yeah, we've seen that higher post frequency is linked to higher impressions per post. So we definitely encourage to share content often. That's one piece of advice that we share with our users. So the second slide here is about the fact that we always recommend to experiment with content formats. So top producers play around with a mix of different formats, right? That includes text only posts, that includes also text plus photo, text plus video, text plus carousel, also polls, GIFs, and voice threads. So there are many different formats that you can play with. And what we see is that multimedia posts that also includes text perform better. So obviously it's always your decision, but we always recommend to include text in your posts, because without text, the posts are not discoverable by a search and tags. So that will also make your content less discoverable by users seeking content on a specific topic. So on the next slide, we want to speak about topic tags. This is something very important on Threads, obviously. Well, when you include topic tags in your posts, you allow other users to discover your content, whether they are clicking into the tag from another post or they are doing a keyword search related to your tag. So yeah, make your content discoverable and use these topic tags. So in terms of general tips that we share with users in terms of like grow on Threads, well, beyond just making posts, it's always very important that you're consistently replying to posts too, right? So replies account for almost half of the views on Threads. That's something very important that we want to highlight today. So if you're replying to Threads, well, you end up reaching more people and potentially converting them into followers. So yeah, engage with your community is the first tip. The second one is the fact that we always recommend to share your opinion on a topic, to invite others to share their opinions too, right? It's all about conversations. So posts that drive conversations are more likely to be recommended. So yeah, you can, start a debate, ask for a recommendation and advice. You can poll your followers. Do not hesitate to be direct and ask your followers what they want to see or hear from you, essentially, and let them, inform your content strategy. So the third, tip that we want to highlight here is the fact that posts that we see do very well are often tied to something that is happening now or it's culturally relevant. So yeah, we encourage to jump on trends and share your thoughts on topics that are likely to be top of mind for your audience. And yeah, the fourth tip here is called make them laugh. We've seen that humorous content received a higher number of views on Threads. So yeah, try to also take that angle in your posts. So obviously these are tips, but there is more than one winning strategy. So we always encourage you to experiment and see what resonates with your audience. So leverage the insights to measure your success and see what works best. So yeah, the coming slides are a few threads that we love. So we wanted to share a little bit, a few examples to highlight brands, creators who leverage the best practices that we've laid out before. So, for beauty and fashion, for instance, we love how Cat Queen uses voice threads to educate on the pronunciation of beauty brands. Odlos Erin Brooklyn giving her own unique take on fashion shows, and Sephora and Glossier inviting their audience to join the conversation. So all of these, best practices are very well used on these examples. And yeah, when it comes to sports on this slide, we love how Naomi Osaka shares her authentic daily thoughts. It makes it very relatable. And how F1 and Lexis McCains engage with their audience through questions and polls. And with entertainment, see how Max jumped on the Barbie trends and encouraged the use of the tag Barbie Party, and how Vijay Novak jokes about something that is relatable. So all of these examples are great, to follow. So with that being said, I think I'll hand it over to you, Etienne.
Yeah, thanks, Teddy. And I think Diksha, the question from you and the social, I don't know if you see these polls, I keep like skipping them, but the question from you and the team at SocialPilot was essentially why should brands invest in Threads, and like how can we give more insights into that? And I think at a high level, it's essentially a recap of everything that we just said. Like for brands and marketeers, joining Threads today or like investing in Threads is really a way to, or an opportunity to reach more people, to reach a very fast growing audience of 275 monthly active users. it's very low lift. It's very easy. I mean, to start doing that. Okay, let me remove this. To start doing that on the platform, to share ideas, connect with your community, and also I think having control over your experience and making sure your brand is safe, which is probably top of mind to a lot of the marketeers in the room. So being comfortable, being able to share thoughts and like be the voice of the brand, I think is really important and something that we want to enable on Threads. We shared a few tips, obviously, and Teddy shared like that, sharing regularly, experimenting with different formats, using text, leveraging topic tags, or directly engaging with your community, for instance, are key things to do. But again, as for everything in social, and like many of you obviously know, there is more than one strategy, one winning strategy, and just like experimenting, seeing what works, leveraging insights to measure your success, and then iterating is really key on Threads, especially on a platform that is fairly new and growing really fast and evolving. So this is how I would answer that question. Diksha,
That's
does that work
amazing.
for you?
Yeah, I think most of the businesses or brands or marketers who are actually wanting to understand from a B2B perspective, this is a great insight for them to kind of start with it or kind of have an insight how they can leverage threads or leverage different other features of threads. So that's really amazing. I think now we can move forward to understanding more about how threads and social pilot work hand in hand. So I would welcome my partner here, Rahul Girdhar. Hey Rahul, can we have you on the screen, please?
Hi, Diksha.
Hi, how are you doing?
All good, all good. Thanks for asking. Hello, guys.
So, Rahul, could you please tell a bit about yourself quickly, and then we can dive into how the integration of threads and social pilot work.
So I've been here in Social Pilot for 3 years, talking to all the different users who have been using the platform, talking about their experience, helping them onboard, know more about the platform. I think it's been an amazing journey. Been part of a few webinars as well, and here to discuss on Threads. It's. I feel it's one of my favorite platforms, simply because it's tech centric, and as Etienne mentioned, the conversations come naturally over here. It's about bringing people together. So very excited to be here.
That's amazing. So, all right, can we quickly now understand how does the threads space works under Social Pilot, and also what are the different other features that Social Pilot has that really, makes it streamlined for users who want to have publishing on threads, a cakewalk for everyone.
Definitely. I'll just quickly do that. Again, can I please share my screen? Thank you so much. All right. So first of all, if we talk about Social Pilot, the ones who do not know what it is, it's a social media publishing tool and management tool. You can manage all the social media platforms over here. Today, we'll talk about Threads. First of all, you can plan your content. You can manage all the content before you actually publish it, plan it for all the different platforms in a calendar. There are some super cool features like drafts with dates and also notes that can help you really streamline your process and act as a reminder on the calendar too. There's also a place for you to collaborate with your team. So if you have any teams or clients for whom you want to manage threads or any other social media, you can directly do it from this platform. And also store all the different content types in a library, which can also be hashtags or pure posts. And if you have all those evergreen posts, I think you're ready to publish those at any given time, and you can keep your threads going on from there. We'll also discuss about AI capabilities in Social Pilot, how I can optimize a particular content just for threads. And I think if you are already using Social Pilot and just planning to discover threads, you're already halfway there to grow and build a community. You've got the content ideas, you need to create an account, and Social Pilot can also help you optimize that content for threads. So I'll quickly show you how I can do that from Social Pilot. Here we are in the account. Now, I have created a few posts which are available in the library that can be published on the platforms. One of the beautiful things about Threads is it supports diverse media types. So I can upload images, videos, links, and obviously the text holds a lot of importance in there. So I can simply add a post. This is a carousel post, which is for a restaurant. Now, again, one of the things I see over here is that the text has to be within 500 characters. And here I can directly optimize it for threads. So I can move to the threads tab. I can see how the post is going to look like and make the changes in here, which would be reflected only on this platform. However, to make it super easy for me, there's an AI assistant as well. I can simply use the same to shorten the text, which will give me the new caption. I can insert it over here, which matches the right criteria. And that's not just it. If I want to change it to a different tone, maybe make the audience feel in a different way, I can do it over here. And I can also translate to a different language if I want to cater to a multilingual audience as well. Then another important thing over here about Threads is using the hashtag. Now that tag, since we can only use a single tag, I'm sure it's going to have much more importance and it has to be more relevant to the topic as well. So we can directly add that tag over here, which would also be shown to you in the post preview. And this will basically help your users find out the content on these social media platforms. Here I can preview how the complete post looks like. There are already images added as I added it from the library. But there are some super helpful integrations like Google Drive, Dropbox, and Box for you to store all your media files so you don't have to move to a different platform. And we also have a Canva integration. So if you are creating the content, you can directly add it from within SocialPilot itself. And once that's done, you can simply create your post and publish it. You can select your Threads account in here. If you also want to publish to Instagram, which can be customized for Instagram in the Instagram tab, just simply schedule it and it can be scheduled on both of those. In fact, if you do not want the post to be published at the same time, there's also an option to stagger an interval, select a time interval, and all the posts will be published during that particular time. Now, one of the most most of the people we have seen publish a lot of link posts on Threads. And I feel it's a very natural fit to Threads as it's a text-based engagement itself. Users like to read and engage with the text, and adding a link to that valuable content would feel like a seamless integration. So let's quickly create a link post. I can directly create a new post in here, add it from the library. Or what if I have a single link? I can even ask the AI again to create a complete caption for me. I can go over here, add up the content. Here I've added the link and asked the AI to generate a caption for me. I can simply insert it, go to the threads option. Here I can make some more changes if it's needed for the post. Now, one of the important things when it comes to links is also the URL shortener. So if you want to stay within the character limit, we have an integration with direct URL shortener. So you can shorten all of these in here. There is also an option for you to set up the UTM parameters. So if you are planning, if you use UTMs to understand how the links have been performing on the different platforms where you get most of the clicks from, I think you can directly add it in here and find all those analytics without moving to a different platform again. So while you publish your content, you can still analyze the links and all the posts in here. And once your posts have been posted, you can always manage it in the calendar, all the posts across different accounts, and you can directly see the post right here. In case there's a post that has performed amazingly well, let's say on Instagram, and I would want to share it on Threads now, I can quickly share on the reshare option. I can even optimize it for Threads in here, rewrite for Threads, make some changes, and simply post this on Threads as well. So I think without much effort, I can start building a lot of building my community on Threads. I can get more and different users, and I can start reaching out to these people on this community. Let me quickly show you some of the posts which have been done on Threads in here. So you can see you can basically schedule all the different types of posts when it comes to media types. I talked Threads can support diverse media types from videos, images, links to text as well. And if we talk about Threads and SocialPilot, we have around 1.5 thousand Threads accounts already connected, and 100,000 posts have also been scheduled already in SocialPilot. So people have started doing it. I think the ones who have not yet explored, it's the right time. We also have some latest updates which help you create your content. We already saw how the AI pilot can help us create some great captions. And we also have the calendar on the go. So you can look at the calendar, you can always stay on track, plan your content. As you mentioned earlier, we need to be consistent with the postings. So I think the platform can really, really be a game changer when it comes to creating content.
Think that was really amazing how, the threads feature work and how especially the AI pilot really supports in content creation and scheduling of the threads overall. So thank you, Rahul. That was a really nice demonstration and very quick. Thank you so much. Now I think we can just head start with the Q&A session. So guys, you can please feel free to drop all your questions relating to threads or social pilot in the Q&A section. So, Etienne, we have a couple of questions here, and the first question that I see here is that how do threads handle if links are shared with an article? Is it good to put the links in the initial or first post of the threads or the second one?
It's a good question. We don't have a formal recommendation on this. We see both happen. I think what's great when you're posting with SocialPilot and third-party tools generally is that you can avoid having the link itself in the post and potentially have it embedded directly in the post with our URL API integration. But like when you post natively or even like through the API as well, we see people doing both. We actually like anecdotally hear a lot of people posting it in the first reply. I think that's where experimentation is great. It's like you can do both and see what performs best. I think it also depends on your audience sometimes, but yeah, I think this is a very common option. It's just sharing kind of the body or like the text that is gonna incentivize people to kind of click and see what are the replies and then see the link and go to the content itself. So first reply, but it's not an official response. I don't think we have statistics showing that it performs better. It's just anecdotal.
Amazing. I think that's really helpful to know. The second question that we see here is that are there any plans to have monetization on threads as we have on Instagram? So any plans soon for like creators or other profiles to kind of monetize their threads profiles?
Yeah, so far there haven't been really monetization opportunities on Threads, and the reason is really we've been focusing on creating value for for consumers and for creators first, and making sure that we introduce monetization at the right time without compromising the experience for consumers and creators. So that's just to explain the focus so far, and obviously we've been pretty transparent on the fact that ultimately this platform is going to be supported by advertising. And so that's one thing that we're working on actively. And like Adam Mosseri and our leadership team have been pretty transparent that this is coming relatively soon. So yeah, this is gonna be a shift and like a monetization opportunity for brands.
Okay, I think that's really nice. Um, okay, so Frank is asking us that will we be able to automate responses on threads as a feature sometime?
So I think if that's replies, you can basically schedule replies to your own posts, you or like draft them and so on. I think it's very hard to kind of plan like replies to others' posts. So as far as I know, at least that's not something we're working on. I don't know if Social Pilot, that's something that you're.
We have one question relating to Social Pilot also here, that how can I leverage content calendar for threads scheduling? Are there any methods by which I can categorize or tag my content?
Yes, we do have that option available in Social Pilot. Let me just show that to you. Right. Perfect. So in the calendar, basically you can filter based on any different type of accounts that you want, first of all, any team members that you have been working on. But as you mentioned, we might want to categorize based on the different type of post or the different content we have in the post. That's where the tags come in. So tags are basically used to categorize posts into any different way. Here in the post, I see a tag for chicken soup and Pablo. If I'm running a podcast, I can also add the podcast title in the tag as well. So based on any different tags, I can directly filter out the content in here and then plan my content accordingly.
Okay, I think that was really quick and it's nice. So I think tags is one of the features that can also help you to categorize your content in terms of reels, in terms of videos, or in terms of images. So you can have tags for different post formats as well, and then you can utilize the tags feature for having your content formats for threads. All right. So I see another question that's relating to threads again, Teddy. So this is, how do I find influencers or leaders in my niche on threads? Is there any search algorithm that help us, or a specific search way, or is it just reliant on the algorithm to find leaders or profiles on threads?
I can start, and then Teddy, if you have more ideas, like please jump in. But I think definitely using search, and I think topic tags specifically. If you're looking into a specific topic of interest, that's a great way to see who is talking about it, like who's getting a lot of engagement and replies, and really kind of driving the conversation and ultimately building community on the platform. So I think that's one great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we recently announced that we are testing custom lists as well. That's a great way to kind of like put together different kind of
Correct.
creators, like thought leaders and so on, in one specific custom feed that you can then like look at regularly and engage and potentially see who these people are engaging with. So I think if you go to someone like who you believe is a thought leader in a specific niche or interest, you can just like see who they reply to, engage with very easily, and that's probably the type of people you also want to follow or see what they're saying and potentially engage with them.
Okay, I think that's a really nice method of doing that. Then we have one question that is not exactly relating to threads, but Rahul, it's more about, a person is asking, how can I do bulk scheduling with SocialPilot? So could you please address it?
So definitely, if you have a lot of links, I would say, or a lot of content already prepared with you, we do have an option for you to bulk schedule as well. It's very easy. Let me quickly show that as well. All right. So here you can find the bulk schedule feature, wherein all you need to do is simply upload a CSV file, and you can schedule up to 500 posts in just one single go. So all you need here is the caption. If you also want to add an image, you can also add an image URL in the second column. If there's a link, the link can be a part of the caption, and the tags can also be a part of that. Simply enter the date and time in the third column, and whichever account that you connect with SocialPilot, you can see in here, will also have a unique account ID. So you simply enter that account ID in here, upload the CSV file, and I think you're done for a lot of posts and a lot of coming weeks for the content.
Okay, all right. So then I see a question that, can we add GIFs when scheduling posts? Okay, so I think that is relating to SocialPilot right now. And so I think GIFs are obviously supported with SocialPilot. So I think, yes, you can schedule GIFs with SocialPilot. Okay, I'll take just two last questions as of now, since we are running out of time. And of course, you can definitely drop all your other questions in the survey form that's been shared in the chat box. The last question, second last question basically, would be relating to threads again. Just give me a moment to quickly check the question. Okay. Yeah. So a person is asking that, can we have image post with text post on threads? Does an image with text works better, or a video with text post work better?
So same, I don't think we have a clear winner there, and it also really depends on your audience, and hopefully the algorithm does a good job at distributing the content, and especially video, to people who want to watch video. That's generally how we operate. But yeah, I think like Teddy mentioned that we see success across kind of both formats, frankly. People love carousels and use them extensively, and we love seeing that. But images and text work perfectly fine. So yeah.
Okay, so there's a counter question to this right now, Etienne, that in terms of then text content, have you found any insights that what works better? Is it a long form text post which is more than like 200 characters, or a short form text post that is less than 200 characters?
Yeah, we get that question a lot, and it's a very interesting one. I feel like the answer is, again, like it really depends. And I think what matters is really the content and what you say more than the number of characters itself. Like, I wish I could tell you 243 characters is the magic number, and like you're gonna crush it with that number. That's not really how it works, unfortunately. And generally, like we see both perform really well. And you can look at, I don't know, the likes of Wendy's or Beyond Meat that are like very active on the platform as brands and generally like have very short and again like funny, humorous content as a brand and definitely like perform really well. But also a lot of like creators and I don't know, I can give an example like one creator that I like who's called Lex Nico. At Lex Nico, who does conversation starters, so it's rather long text and it's like a bunch of sentences that give you what's going on in the culture and kind of entertainment world with a few kind of conversation starters. So it's longer text form and it drives a lot of engagement and people like it. So again, more about like the content itself than the length of the text. And again, like experimenting and trying different formats and having like different ways to engage with your community is key here.
Okay, I think that's really nice. The last question that I would take is that, what are the other B2B brands or what are the other B2B businesses that kind of are inspirations or businesses can look up to on Threads to kind of, get inspiration or who are doing really well on Threads? Do you have any examples or any names top of the mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think like again, like all types of industries and verticals are present on Threads and performing well. But I think you have a lot of brands like, I don't know, the likes of Monday.com and so on, who also like do really well on social media generally and adapt and their strategy and their voice on Threads. I don't have a lot more insights into B2B specifically, but again, like decision makers and a lot of like professional kind of users are on Threads and part of this growing community of 275 million people. And there's no reason why a B2B company wouldn't reach them there and just like engage. I think it's more a matter of like finding your voice
Mhm.
as a B2B brand and maybe having a slightly different voice than you would have on other socials. But yeah.
Okay, I think that's really nice to know. And I think Aditi in the chat box is also dropping some of the good B2B brand names that are HubSpot. I can see Calm is also there, and many more are there in the chat box. So, guys, you can definitely find in the chat box that. Lately, I would definitely want to end this webinar by understanding what can be the latest developments marketers and the users of Threads expect in 2025. Any scoop would you want to give us? We would definitely love to know what we can expect in the coming year. What latest features in terms of like APIs also, maybe you can drop some scoop or even about the features.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you everything, but I need to keep a bit of surprise here. I mean, like I would encourage people to follow Mosseri, Zuck at Threads. They generally announce like the direction, the things that we test. Obviously, I think the big themes for next year are gonna really be like continuing giving people and businesses and creators ways to create on the platform and like be creative and share inspiring ideas. While again, like building community and doing that in a very safe way. So expect like more features built in that space and really things that we're working on. For creation, a good example is we recently introduced ways to tag locations just to be able to kind of give an additional point of context for people who follow you or like people who see your content and just connect with a local kind of community. We also are testing, I mentioned, for building community custom feeds, which is really a great way for people to like be able to curate their list of search terms, but also profiles and just like follow the content. And another example of things we're doing is just like improvements overall to trends and trending now, which we hope to expand further beyond the US, but by adding kind of AI summaries like bite size that really enable you to understand what people are talking about, like where the conversation is happening and like where to jump in the conversation. I mentioned ads as well, obviously for marketeers. But there's a lot more to come. And even beyond that, I would just like give a shout out to the engineering team as well and say there's a lot happening under the hood and that people don't see, but just to improve the algorithm, to improve the integrity, which is extremely important, and the safety on the platform, and to improve the performance of the app overall. So hopefully all things that people can enjoy more and more, like going into 2025.
Okay, I think that was really nice. And there were a lot of developments which we now already know that's making our audience really more excited to, kind of have these features very quickly on Threads. So I think that was a great session. And thank you so much, Etienne and Teddy, to be here with us. It was a wonderful session. And thank you so much, Rahul, Social Pilot support team, and the other teams that are here to help us for this webinar. It was really great talking to you. And for everyone who has joined us as a marketer here, as an attendee here, thank you so much for joining in. It was a great session to have you guys with.
Thank you, Diksha. Thanks, everyone.
So much for your time.